Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Industry City. It's great to see you all. Thanks very much for joining us today. Industry City is the place where we explore where the mobile ecosystem and various verticals intersect. Yesterday was manufacturing, tomorrow's mobility, and today is our FinTech Summit. I'm Brian Gorman. I'm the FinTech leader at GSMA, and this is our fourth session, which we call Powering Innovation. I'd like at this point to thank our sponsors, JP Morgan, and also supporting sponsor WorldPay for their help in creating these sessions. So we've got a really packed agenda, and I need to speak quickly and move on. So we've got two presentations and then a fireside chat. In our first presentation, delighted to welcome Frehiwot and Jacky, who will confirm the details on a Telepay case study in Ethiopia. So delighted that they could create time to come and share that with us today. Lee and Zhou will again share a case study on the work that they're doing with various telcos around the world to enhance their digital proposition to customers and move it from perhaps an old mobile money solution to a more 21st century fintech proposition. And then finally, with Jerome and Ville, we're going to explore the really important area of CBDCs, which seems to change every day. It's very dynamic, so we wanted to spend some time exploring that also. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome on stage Frehiwot and Jacky for the presentation on the Telepay case study. Good luck.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GSMA FinTech Summit. First, to have a very good time, and I'm here to share you a very good success story that you can adapt it to your own country. I know we have been doing a lot using mobile technology, but what is new when it comes to fintech solution in Ethiopia is very exciting, especially given the short period since we have been adopting. But allow me to briefly introduce you Ethio Telecom, who we are. Ethio Telecom is an African operator, pioneer operator, that has been serving Ethiopia for 128 years. Currently, Ethio Telecom has 70 million subscribers with 99% population coverage in mobile service, which makes us the second largest operator in Africa and 22nd in the world. But the question is, what are we doing with large customer base and almost 100% mobile coverage? Today, the challenge is not technology, I would say, rather how to make value out of the coverage and the customer base that we built. So this will take me to share you what we are doing in Ethio Telecom today. We are going beyond connectivity, mainly to realize the digital transformation of our country, aiming to ensure the digital economy inclusion for sustainable growth and also inclusive growth. This is by empowering enterprise as well as improving individuals' lives through mobile money and what we can do beyond that. So by digitalizing our day-to-day activities, enterprises, we are creating new capabilities and opportunities, especially enterprise, to widen their market, as well as to be more productive and efficient. And more important point that I would like to share is digitalizing government service, particularly in Africa and our country, is very important because in 21st century we need to be more efficient and agile enough to provide services, especially government service to citizens, and using mobile service again. So this will lead me to share you a short story about Telepay, Ethio Telecom's mobile money that has been launched in May 2021. And in this very short period, this is the exciting experience that I would like to share you, in fact, which means in less than 2 years, we are able to acquire 29 million mobile money users. And during this period, we have transacted more than 300 billion Ethiopian birr. This is equivalent of around 5.3 billion USD. And from the ecosystem transaction of 230 million. And our aim is to build a collaborative ecosystem. We are not doing this alone. Rather, we are integrating with our agile business model enterprise are integrating with Telebr so that they will be providing their service online and government services as well. Citizens, they don't need to go to the government office to pay different bills like tax, pension tax, income tax, and others, including utility today. So down the line, our plan is to transact 40 to 50% of our country GDP, overall GDP, to go through Telebr. By doing so, we're trying to build the digital economy, cash-light society that will be more safer and easy to use in the ecosystem. Telebr is not limited to providing a solution for the enterprise, but today our customers' mobile phone is not limited to use to make a phone call and access to internet as we have been doing it previously. But now our customers can store, send, and receive money via Telebr. Beyond that, they can pay for goods, merchants, for bills, and other things can happen also just using their mobile phone. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Leveraging the mobile technology is very important so as to make the digital economy a reality. Beyond the basic mobile money service, one of the success stories that I would like to share you in this very short period that our company and our partner together that we achieved to bridge the financial inclusion. Again, financial inclusion is a major challenge in Africa, still that we need to tackle, and mobile money is helping us to bridge this gap. Since we launched the financial service, which is August 2022, which is I would say around 7 months, we are able to connect more than 1.1 million citizens to essential financial service that they are able to get micro lending and also saving. By doing so, that today we are able to connect them with their aspiration and as well as with dream. Particularly when it comes to mobile money, the beauty is, just to give you a little bit perspective what's happening in our country, we do have around 32 banks, conventional bank, and they are able to serve altogether 400,000 citizens, I can say. But in less than 7 months, this is the power of mobile technology and service. In less than 7 months, we are able to connect 1.1 people to essential financial service. I'm sure you understand what this really means. So in the future, our plan is to increase the financial inclusion by 25 to 30% using our Telebr, and that will make many of the users to be able to get basic financial services. Beyond the success, in fact, in very short period that we are able to acquire 29 million is highly driven by the mobile technology that we have built, like the 99% population coverage and the large customer base has helped us to roll out countrywide availability of the financial service and also the mobile money. And one of the success factors that I would like to share behind Telebr for the adoption, the fast adoption behind the mobile Telebr, is that the coverage, one, second, large customer base, and also our countrywide agents that we have we are using currently for other services as well, has been used also to build a customer base. As you can see, our presence is countrywide. We have more than 100,000 agents who are today performing cash in, cash out, and also customer registration. Apart from that, the system, day one, it is available to all our customers for both smartphone and feature phone. As you know, smartphone affordability is still a challenge, especially for our continent. So availing this kind of solution, both in the smartphone and the feature phone, is very important, and that is one of the success factors behind Telebr. Day one, it was accessible through USSD, short number, as well as through application, and application both for iOS and Android. That makes it to be used widely throughout the country, both for urban and rural users. It was easy to use and to access, and is affordable as well. So again, it's also localized. Apart from the English language, it is accessible through 4 additional local languages. So it's very important when we bring solution to our citizens to make it contextualized so that they will be able to use it and adopt and make it friendly and agile enough is very important. So though Ethio Telecom is catching to this technology lately, we are also leveraging the advantage of latest technology and also other operators' experience who have been rolling out mobile money to ensure financial inclusion, as well as to digitalize different government services, and also to empower enterprise to be productive, efficient, and sell their product online and collect their money as well. So today, companies are also able to make payments, salary payments, and other bulk payments, including government is using it for tax collection. So it's really empowering for government as well as for enterprise. Individuals on their day-to-day activities, they don't need anymore to go to the government office to pay different kind of bills and also services. And apart from that, I would like to also share you in this very short period that we are able to integrate more than 18 banks, which makes it easy for Telebr users to send money from their wallet to the bank and also from the bank to the wallet. This is very important. Again, bringing technology is one thing, but making it useful is very important so that people will relate to their day-to-day activity, and technology will not be only fantasy, but meaningful, that will add value and solve customers' problem at the end of the day. If technology is not helping us to simplify lives of individuals and improving companies, it will be meaningless. Again, that will be my message that I would like to share to the industry. Always, technology is advancing. That's very exciting, but we need to also make sure that we are making value out of it. So in Ethio Telecom, again, the fastest adoption of Telebr, it shows that people are eager to use financial mobile money service, but the way we implement it and integrate it really matters, and the business model that we are applying as well to integrate banks and other enterprises, very important. Today, the availability of API is helping to integrate and to be fast to the market, but still, we need to be agile enough so as to attract the ecosystem. The beauty of technology and especially the mobile money is that it creates opportunity for the large group. It's not limited to operators, not limited to hardware manufacturer and software, but the ecosystem is large enough so that we will be able also to create new job opportunities. Especially, again, back to my home country and continent Africa, the challenge is creating new job opportunity, right? So in the digital economy, leveraging technology should be used beyond enhancing and being productivity, but also creating new job opportunity as we used to in some other countries as well. And today, not only banks, more than 20 international remittance service providers are also integrated with Telebr. By doing so now, citizens are able to receive remittance from 44 countries. Again, I know you are familiar with mobile money technology. The experience that I would like to share you today is the fastest adoption, the practice and the success factor behind the fastest adoption. 29 million means for some of us is one country population, right? So how do we make it possible? Agility, working in a collaborative business model is very important, and also leveraging the existing infrastructure and platform, especially the agents that we put to acquire and to provide basic telecom services like SIM card subscription. that we have adopted it also for mobile money. And today, more than 37 government institutions are also integrated with Telebur, and by doing so, they are able to provide online services and collect payments through Telebur. So maybe I think this is my part. Mr. Jacky will take you through the capability of the platform. I think I'm okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
You're good. You're good. Well done. Just have a seat and.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Tamru, for sharing us a great and enlightening journey of Ethio Telecom FinTech business. It's really amazing. So it's a great honor to jointly share the success story and Huawei's thoughts on FinTech business development. So first of all, allow me to share a series of numbers. The first one is the user development. The FinTech subscribers of Ethio Telecom has reached 29 million in just 20 months. The second one is about business development. About 80% of Ethiopia's people's daily life services has been launched on FinTech, and including the domestic and international banking, and also government-related public services. The third one is related to the new service release. The FinTech service of Ethio Telecom can be released in 7 days from the idea to market. Behind all of these amazing numbers, there are a powerful service platform and partner that firmly and steadily support them. That is where Huawei come into play. So we have provided industry-leading FinTech solution with a design principle of cloud, fast, and one. Let me explain these three keywords briefly. The cloud-native architecture helps to build up a reliable and trustworthy financial foundation. This could enable Ethio Telecom to focus on the business development and innovation. And the fast evolving platform helps to quickly interconnect with partner services and promote online popularization of people's livelihood services. The one-stop FinTech solution include 3-in-1 platform with the capabilities of e-wallet, payment, and microfinance. And we would like to express our sincere gratitude to Ethio Telecom for the trust. Another key point I would like to bring up today is Huawei's continuous thinking on FinTech business development. As technologies combines with finance more than ever, FinTech is constantly reshaping people's life, from the digitalization of financial accounts to the daily lives and scenarios, and finally to the ubiquitous financial services. In the process of FinTech business development, we need to think big and start small. And Huawei has put forward 4 suggestions for the development of FinTech business. The first one is business positioning. We have distilled a success DNA from the industry leaders. They promoted FinTech as a strategic business rather than a value-added services. This could help a FinTech team to focus on the marketing development, and also could get great autonomy from the organization, and then quickly achieve the innovation. The second one is diverse services. The planning and development should include more diverse services to respond to the OTT competition, and also to create more monetization methods. And the third one is to unleash the value of converged data. Operators have a huge number of users, services, as well as network data. This could help many areas, like precise agent planning, credit scoring, and so on. So the fourth one, and is the most important to select a stronger partner. FinTech is a typical business that combines platform and operations. It requires partners to have a quick response locally and also share the best practice globally. So, which is very critical to seize the ever-changing market. So finally, thanks to GSMA and all the attendees, we sincerely hope that we could collaborate together to shape the future of FinTech. Thanks.
Thanks, Jacky. Thank you. Thank you to Frehiwot and Jacky for a brilliant case study. It's hard to believe that you can scale to that level in such a short period of time. It's an amazing achievement. We do have a busy session, so I do need to move on. So I'd now like to welcome Lee and Du onto the stage. As I said, we're going to hear a case study of how they're starting to work with telcos to take them on that next stage of their journey. Lee? Good luck.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lee. I'm from Alipay. Before I start, I would like to ask a very simple question. What is the concept of FinTech in your mind? Actually, I will ask this question to many people. And in most occasions, the answer is using technology to do financial service, saving, lending, wealth management, insurance, etc., to make money. They're right. But one important thing, I don't know if you guys have thought about it. So the financial institutions have been using technology for many, many years. Why, until recently, the whole industry has been disrupted by a few people, like Marsha was here, Gcash in Philippines. So they developed only a few years. Have you thought about it? Let me just tell you my answer. Because the financial service we talk about is about lending, saving. But one important thing is payment. So today, my focus is very much on payment. And the payment is eventually the ultimate revenue stream for all FinTech industry, particularly for the consumer-facing business. Maybe let's take 1 minute to review the traditional payment landscape. I think many people are very familiar with this diagram. They call it a four-party model. So acquirer, they have merchant, issuer, they have customer. In between, there is a payment intermediary, like card scheme or somebody else. It's very traditional. But have you think about it? Why, they have such clear role and responsibility from different stakeholders? The reason is technology. If you think about it, 30, 40 years ago, the only payment carrier actually is card, plastic card, credit card, debit card, whether it is magnetic, chip card, or contactless. It's still tangible. It's still tangible card. Once it is made, it is made. So that's why you can't reach to every customer you want with this product, with this technology. So that's why, from many, many years ago, so this payment landscape has been there. But that is all of them were before the mobile internet era. Let's take a look. For mobile internet era, what will be the big picture in Alipay mind? Could you notice any difference with the previous landscape? Actually, it is more on the local mobile payment, the environment. In the previous slide, there is a payment intermediary. But here you see the mobile wallet. They are connecting with the merchant, and the customer directly. Why? The answer is also very, very simple. It's the same. It's because of technology. Because now we have smartphone, we have mobile internet, so we are able to reach to customer, to reach to the merchant with this product. But maybe in a cross-border transaction, we still need an intermediary. But for 95% and above transactions, so we just rely on one partner. So it is really an area whereby vendor could take all. And also, because the payment carrier becomes the mobile phone because of a smartphone. So this is also a kind of a digitalization for the whole payment landscape. So the digitalization can happen in the payment area and can happen on the marketing area. For payment, Alipay has redefined the QR for the in-store payment. Right? There is a lot of expertise we can do. Even for marketing, so there is also a lot of exciting things we can do because it brings the new revenue stream to the operator for marketing. Just think about it. So if one customer is flying from Madrid to Barcelona, after he landed, so the mobile wallet just push a coupon, €5 coupon to his customer. Okay, with this coupon, so you can get discount from Uber. Then the mobile wallet is able to talk to Uber, hey Uber, because I bring traffic, I bring business to you. So what I'm going to do is charge you 10% marketing fee instead of just the 2% MDR. So I think most probably Uber will say yes. So this is also a dynamic change for the business model from payment perspective. So I want to give some, I know today's session is for telco. Maybe most of the audience are from telco area. So I want to give some confidence to the telco. We think in the mobile internet era, telco can play an important role for digital payment, for digital wallet. Why? Because the fintech business is definitely a combination between business advantage and also technology. Business advantage because telco has use case, they have user base, they have partnership, and also they have some technology like LBS, right? I don't have to further explain. But for technology, I need to remind every telco, right? This is a new technology. This is a new era. We can't use yesterday's tool to solve the problem for tomorrow. So you should embrace the mobile internet, the new technology, 120%. You can't be half-hearted. Okay, say, I use the existing technology, I just develop an app, I just give more function, then I can become a mobile internet company. No, it's wrong. So you need to change the mindset. And you need to work with somebody who has the proven technology, proven record. I'll give you a good example. Coincidentally, so it is also the successful case of Gcash. Masha, the CEO of Gcash was here just half an hour ago, and she delivered a very exciting story. This is the same, but if you look at the evolution of Gcash, so across the journey, they have done a lot of good things, the business strategy, or else they can't to reach this level. But one of the best strategy Gcash has adopted is working with Alipay. So Alipay invested in Gcash in 2017. At that time, the valuation of Gcash is 100 million. After 5 years, if you look at now, last year, so Gcash is already a dual-coin company. So just within 5 years. So in terms of technology, they have adopted Alipay Plus payment service. So from beginning, 2017, they decided to migrate to Alipay system. And we are also lucky. We did 3 phases. The last phase just happened Q1 2020, just immediately before the pandemic. So we complete the full migration. All their systems are on Alipay platform. And then pandemic come. Then it boosted the digitalization. So you see, this is the user growth of Gcash. You see how fast it grows. So there is a thing, the good chance is only given to the people who are fully prepared. So then I think technology, I should remind again, is something we have to bear in mind, the good technology. This is my last slide. I just want to quickly briefing you, so the evolution of Alipay, the payment tech service. It's very, very simple. In the beginning, so we only provided this technology to the company we have invested, Paytm, Dana, TNGD, Gcash. And all of them are either number 1 or number 2 in the market. You see, Alipay did help them a lot from technology's perspective. Then by doing that, we have accumulated a good product. And now we are ready to provide to the open market. Vodapay from South Africa is also a good example. Later on, my partner will introduce their case. But this technology is also provided to anybody who wants to work with Alipay. Payment 3.0 is something I showed in the previous slide. It's not only technology. So Alipay now is building a global network. We can bring you, when you meet the needs of your local customer, we are able to bring you to the overseas and to any tourism places or business places and meet the payment needs or financial service needs of your customer. This is a business collaboration. This is the add-on service. It's even beyond the technology. Later, now, I would like to invite my partner, Mr. Zhou, to introduce how we implement this Alipay payment service.
Thank you. Thank you for your wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to talk about how to explore the business, new revenue stream, and how to implement this transformation. When I was just a new recruit in telecom field, at that time, the industry enjoyed faster growth and considerable profit margins because of demographic dividend and innovation of technology. But now, things changed. Okay, so what shall we do now? In my opinion, we need to step further, and so many telcos make so lot of efforts. Step into diversified scenarios like fintech, cloud computing, and IoT, you name it. But which one could be more promising and predictable? Okay, we need to answer this question. Yeah, this is the challenge we are facing. So how to deal with these challenges? In my opinion, we think grow into a fintech power is one way, the most recognized way, and this way has been successfully proven by many cases in this world. But just deliver the payment business is not enough. We need to step further. We need to develop also the digital finance and also the digital lifestyle. Okay, every people have different answers. Yeah. But based on our experience, we have a clear path how to develop this business and how to make the growth rapidly. And in this clear path, we have, 3 stages. At the first stage, you need to launch the digital payment with diversified scenarios. At this stage, we normally don't focus on earning much revenue. We just make people get used to the payment service. And then with the customer traffic and with the service penetration, with the data precipitation, we go to the second stage naturally, offering the financial services, inclusive financial services. And it's the stage to catch revenue and profit. After the second stage, we have enough power to build the ecosystem. And we build an ecosystem with the super applications. So it's the revenue stream we can have from focusing on the payment value to the account value, as in the user value. This path is very clear. Yes, we have many cases, as Ms. Lee mentioned, collaborating with partners in different areas in this world. So we have a rich experience how to enable our partners to win, how to create values in different markets, and how to make the business breakthrough when we face some challenges. Yes, this case is in South Africa. VodaPay is the first super app in this continent. In this project, it involved all-in-one empowerment and enablement. Yes, for digital payment and for digital finance and for digital lifestyle. Yes, it's why we collaborate, and it's how VodaPay got a quick success. With the rich experience and with the deeper insight into the payment industry and for the innovation, Alipay and Cloud, we are willing to enable our partners, to enable telecoms to win the local market, to create value, to bring the inclusive financial services to this world. And thank you very much. And let's think big and move fast. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Du. Thank you to Du and Lee for a super presentation about the work they're doing with our ecosystem to really kind of power that next level of development. And so for our final session today, I'd like to welcome Jerome and Ville on stage. So Idemia and Ericsson are core technology partners of the GSMA and indeed of our whole ecosystem. So we're just going to explore a leading edge technical solution. If you go in the middle, so thanks. CBDCs, and try and find out exactly where we are with a couple of experts. So welcome both, thanks for joining us. Perhaps if you want to do 30-second intro to the team, to the group, that would be helpful.
Yes, so my name is Ville Sointu. I'm the head of solutions and strategy for Ericsson Mobile Financial Services. We are actually being nominated for Global Award later today on this stage, so stay tuned for that as well.
And thanks, Ville. Jerome.
Hi. Thank you. I'm Jerome Ajdenbaum, in charge of crypto and digital currencies for Idemia. So Idemia is a leader in the government space, identity space, payment, and telecom.
Super, John. Can I start with you then? So from your perspective, the work that you do, what is the current status of CBDCs? Where are we?
Well, CBDC is growing everywhere. When I say everywhere, according to the latest stats, 90% of the central banks over the world have a CBDC, a central bank digital currency project. So it's just everywhere. Who are the leaders? China is quite ahead. They have some interesting projects, not yet a deployment. Some smaller countries have deployed large scale, especially in the Caribbean.
Yep.
A very interesting one is Nigeria. Nigeria has a national deployment. And again, we have Africa, like we saw already today with M-Pesa, with Ethiopia. So again, Africa is showing their lead. So it's just everywhere.
It's everywhere. Ville, what do you see from Ericsson's perspective?
So from Ericsson's perspective, of course, we're observing the same projects as mentioned already here, but perhaps a couple of words from Europe's standpoint as well. Ericsson's home country, of course, Sweden, has had their e-krona project since 2017, so it has been observed as one of the first and most interesting projects to actually work on central bank digital currencies. Sweden, as we know, is largely a cashless society already, and we're seeing a lot of that cashlessness being driving this central bank digital currency development as well. The other project from Europe I need to mention, of course, is the European Central Bank's digital euro project, which I'm also a small part of, being part of the market advisory group for the European Central Bank for the digital euro. It is a private sector body advising the European Central Bank on the development of the digital euro. The digital euro project started 2021, towards the end of 21, which is also when they started the market advisory group, and they have been in this investigation phase since then. This investigation phase will now close in October this year, and then there's going to be decisions about a possible implementation of a digital euro.
Super, thank you. Jerome, can I come to you then? The big question, why? Why CBDCs?
So let's be clear. When Bitcoin was introduced, the central bank started raising eyebrows. When Facebook, Meta, launched their Libra or Diem project, this was really a warning shot. And suddenly, every single central bank was working on their response to this threat to their independence.
Yeah.
What if my currency is suddenly displaced by a private currency?
Yeah.
So that's a super, super important driver. After, there are many different motivations. It depends on countries. I will let Ville talk about Europe. But when we look abroad, for example, in China or also in Nigeria, there is an important dimension of fighting against crime and corruption. Some other countries, it's about sovereignty, it's about bankerization, financial inclusion. So every central bank has a very strong motive, but it's not always the same across the different geographies.
I think, Ville, I saw in numbers at 100 countries around the world, central banks exploring this now. Is that right? Is that the scale?
Sorry, what was the question?
Is there a number of, how many countries around the world have now got projects live?
Live at the moment, there's I think less than 10 at the moment
live. Yeah.
And actually, it's a small fact that people might not know. Central bank digital currencies have existed since the 90s already, but they have only existed in the form of chip cards. So, for example, towards the beginning of the 90s, we had central bank digital currency in Finland, which was launched on a chip card-based solution. And then ultimately it was taken down because people didn't really understand the point of having a separate currency there. But to build on a couple of your points, I think there's a lot of conversation around the fact that somehow cryptocurrencies, for example, would have driven central banks into moving into this research.
Yeah.
That is maybe partly true, but I think it's a broader topic of actually providing a public alternative to private solutions. So as we know, practically all of the digital money that we use today, the e-money, the bank money, the commercial bank money that we have, are in the hands of private actors. And especially, for example, in the case of Europe, a lot of the payment processing is in the hands of non-European entities.
Right.
So it is also a question of sovereignty, as already mentioned, but also the resilience of the system. From a citizen standpoint, it is basically a public option for a private solution. And I think the central banks seek to restore this almost like a natural balance that has existed for a long time between physical cash and digital cash. Now that physical cash is going away, the central banks will also want to have a digital public option available.
Super, thanks, Ville. So, Jerome, what's the kind of the big issue that needs to be fixed for this to move forward?
Privacy. Definitely privacy. Privacy is the norm. There was an interesting survey from the European Central Bank asking people what is the key feature you think is important for the digital euro. Number one was privacy, and it was by far, they scored more points than any other topic, and twice as more than the second one. So privacy is super important. Today cash is anonymous. Digital cash must be as good as cash and even better than cash. So privacy, the possibility, and it's an interesting balance because on one hand you have AML, CFT, you need to trace some things, and on the other hand you have cash with anonymous. Cash would have been invented today, it would never have been allowed to market. So there is an interesting cursor to set between privacy and control. Of course, it will not be the same in the different countries, but privacy is definitely the key topic.
Ville?
Well, I agree on the privacy point. I also want to emphasize the fact that we should be talking about privacy, not anonymity. So anonymous currency is completely different from private. Privacy enabled systems are really good. Anonymity in the digital world is not necessarily a fantastic thing for many reasons. But there's two biggest problems that the central banks need to solve, in addition to the privacy, of course, is basically, first you need to figure out the distribution. Distribution, of course, needs to be handled almost like through the existing system if the central banks don't want to do it themselves, and they usually don't. Central banks are not really equipped or they don't even have a charter to serve consumers or citizens directly, so they would rather work through intermediaries. So, for example, in Europe now, the role of an intermediary can be an existing bank, but beyond that, the intermediary can also be any of the entities defined in the Payment Services Directive. So that means that, for example, from a telco perspective, a lot of the telcos holding e-money licenses and mobile money licenses will probably become intermediaries in the future. So they need to be ready with the platforms that are open enough, scalable enough to make sure that they're able to handle both the disbursement payment processing of central bank digital currencies, but also the settlement mechanisms that are necessary to work with the central bank ledgers. The second point, and this is an important one for any new mechanism, is acceptance. So beyond just making a central bank digital currency legal tender, you also need to think about whether there's going to be mandatory acceptance, which is actually two separate things.
Okay.
So legal tender only means that you're in the court of law, you're able to settle debts between parties according to the legal system, but that does not mean mandatory acceptance. Mandatory acceptance is also on the table for central bank as a tool, because again they want to ensure the utility of these new digital currencies. So no decisions have been made yet, but I'm sure that conversation will be very active as well.
So I'm keen just to explore kind of some of the work that you're both doing then. So Jerome, you've got this, I'm not sure whether you want to call it a proof of concept or an MVP or a pilot with JCB. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so at Idemia, we are focused on one specific aspect of digital currencies, which is offline. We want to make offline payments possible because we know cash is a public good, should work anywhere, anytime. So the Idemia solution has become the industry standard to allow these offline payments anywhere, anytime. It's also very key for privacy that I mentioned, because there are some solutions, including offline, to allow for privacy. What we specifically demonstrated in Japan with JCB, you mentioned the deployment. How do you build the acceptance? And when you start, you have nothing. You have no acceptance. JCB, they already have in Japan, of course, they are the major payment network, so they have already acceptance everywhere. So we leveraged their existing network base, their existing terminal base, to allow payments, to allow CBDC payments, digital yen payments, to be accepted from day one on the JCB network. So that's really an on-ramp to digital currency.
And sorry, that's online though, or is that offline? So forgive me.
So this one, it can work offline or online. It can work in both modes. It's very close to really it relies on the JCB network, which is EMV, chip-based. Yeah. So it relies on the network offline or online.
So offline, it's storing the value of the currency in my phone. I use it, it debits the pool of value, and next time I go online, it reconciles. Is that broadly how it works? Or?
So depending on the solution, you allow, really like cash, you can allow unlimited retransfers, which is really what you want to get. And think about a situation where you have a natural disaster, you have the war, unfortunately the war is coming back.
Yes.
What happens? You need to be able to transact, you need to be able to send money to one person who will retransfer, again, just like cash, but with all the benefits of a digital solution. So this is what we are trying to achieve.
Super, thank you. And Ville, on the EU project, I know that there's some prototypes, some projects going on now. Could you share a few more thoughts on how that's working?
Yeah, so maybe from the standpoint of these two projects I already mentioned. So eKrona started their own technical pilot in 2020, and they have now concluded that. They have not made a decision to actually whether they're going to launch an eKrona yet, but they have concluded the technical testing, and they have initial design ideas of how it's going to be built. The European Central Bank's digital euro, which I guess is the point of most focus point at the moment in Europe, again, like I said, they're concluding the planning phase now, October this year. And then if they make a decision to move ahead with the implementation, they will then have the 3-year project to actually start rolling it out. Yeah. And that is actually excluding the political process to even give the legal mandate for the ECB to even launch a digital euro. Because that's also another thing that needs to be considered. Yes. The European Central Bank cannot launch a digital euro as it stands today. They have to change the law in the European Union, and that is a very political and tedious process, of course. But they can make a recommendation to launch it. And then the political process starts, and then the 3-year period of creating the actual production level system will begin as well. So yeah, it's going to take time, but I think it's actually quite a good thing that these things take time, because if central banks mess this up, it's going to make a lot of damage. So I'd rather have it slow and steady than rush it to the market.
So we need to wrap up. You can see the clock like I can, but just to check. So we're sitting in Barcelona. Give me your forecast of when we would be spending the digital euro in the coffee bars in Mobile World Congress. Ville, you go first.
4 years from now. So
4 years, oh my goodness. Gosh,
27.
Okay. Jerome, what do you think?
I think next year, everybody will be talking about the digital euro for 2 reasons. First, because it's a very political issue. Yeah. Some people will be pro, some people against. There will be some papers in the press that it's about dictatorship, that it's privacy again. So first, this is the global framework. After, about being able to pay in digital euro, experimentation will get started. Telecom operators next year, I'm sure every telecom operator will be involved, will have an opinion on that. Okay. About starting paying, maybe this will be an advanced area, maybe in 2 years. But for a largely global distribution, 3-4 years is more realistic.
Super, thank you both. I really appreciate it. It's a very complex area, so we appreciate you taking the time out to share your thoughts with us today. If you could show your appreciation for our speakers, please, thank you.